Hello everyone, welcome to the Sane Asylum. And in this video we're going to be looking at some of the Section 1 video nasties, the ones you could get successfully prosecuted for. Now I'm going to try and balance it out with some good video nasties, some bad video nasties, and some ugly video nasties. Spell casting VIDEONASTIES. Ooh, nasty. So yeah, the first film we're going to look at is probably one of the better video nasties by a wide margin, and we're going to look at The Bay of Blood, also known as Bloodbath and Twitch of the Death Nerve. So yeah, Bay of Blood. So Bay of Blood is an Italian, a 70s Italian giallo film. Now, if you don't know what giallo is Italian for yellow. And during the 60s, particularly the 1960s in Italy, murder mystery literature was very, very enormously popular in the country. And a lot of the covers were coloured yellow, hence giallo. And a lot of people cite the first giallo film as The Girl That Knew Too Much. Well, according to Rate Your Music, I wouldn't say I was a... I mean, I've seen a few giallos. I wouldn't say I was a complete expert like a lot of people, like Kim Newman and people like that. But, you know, I have my passionate interest in the genre. And directed by Mario Bava, 1972. The Bay of Blood. So yeah, Bay of Blood. So Bay of Blood is basically about a rich countess that gets murdered, but made to look like a suicide, as there's a suicide next to her. We see the murderer, but he gets murdered as well by somebody. And then the daughter of the rich countess is looking for her father. So then, of course, it all and the gory, which leads to the gory climax. Now, for me, it is not your typical giallo film. It plays more like a slasher film. Now, you can't overstate the importance of John Carpenter's Halloween for the slasher genre. You can't stress enough that film has such a colossal impact, not just on slasher films, just the film industry in general, you know. I mean, John Carpenter's blueprints are over everything, whether it's action films, thriller films, horror films, science fiction films. His blueprints are on everything. So I can't overstate the importance of Halloween enough. But I do feel that this should be up there as being one of the blueprints of the slasher genre. I mean, all the blueprints are in here. You know, really, really gory deaths in it. A lot of plot twists in this. A lot of plot twists. So, if you're watching it for the first time, you're not gonna. I don't think you'll get it straight away, and that is typical with a lot of giallo films. You know, a lot of giallo films. There tends to be a lot of plot twists, and what I like about the genre is you can watch them over and over again, and there's bits and pieces that you miss the first time, so you're always learning something new about each giallo film, even if it's just like a little nuance. It's something. So yeah, it is it's so much like a slasher film, and this film inspired Friday the 13th. Now, the comparisons with this and Friday the 13th is quite. I mean, Friday the 13th is not completely like it, but it has borrowed a lot of ideas from this film, particularly some of the murders in it. So there's one particular scene where these two couples are like, well, invaded one of the main characters' houses, you know, up to naughty things, and the killer kills the first guy with an axe right to the left eye, and he pulls it, blood gushes everywhere. Now, there's a particular murder in Friday the 13th which is homage to that, and of course there's the other part where the shagging couple in this film get a massive African spear right through him, right through the lady to where his dick is, which is also a murder in Friday the 13th as well. So there's a lot of homage to Friday the 13th. And can you guess how many murders are in this film? Can you guess? No? 13 murders in this film. 13 grisly murders. It's got beheadings, stabbings, you name it, it's got it. You know, there's a lot of creative deaths in this. And the scriptwriter said on here that him and Mario Bava, the director, tried to come up with as many creative deaths as they possibly could. So the spear to the couple was Mario Bava's idea, and the one part where the woman gets throttled with by telephone wire was the scriptwriter's idea. So it's a lot of, you know, if you're a gore hound, you will bloody love this film. It is incredibly gory for its time, incredibly gory. Character-wise, I mean, there's a few interesting characters in it, but not, again, with a lot of these films, there's not a lot of character depth to her. I mean, you got the odd couple, like she's like a witch, and she's got these tarot cards, and she's sort of predicting. You know, each card is death. You know, it's like she's got like she could be a psychic. It's never fully explored, that character. She could be a psychic in a way, you know, sort of predicting the actual murders. And then of course she got her husband. You know, I mean, fucking hell. I mean, what the fuck do they do in her fucking house? She's got fucking tarot cards going, oh, death, and you got him bloody collecting insects. Very bizarre relationship that is. So yeah, there's the fisherman. He's a bit. I don't know if he's autistic or not. He's very. I don't know. Like I said, the characters are not given much depth. But I mean, it's interesting. They're interesting enough. With what despite the lack of character depth, they're still pretty interesting. And it's one of those films where you always get into who the killer is. I mean, when I watched it the first time, I didn't get the killer straight away at all. You know, and it's like I said, there's a lot of plot twists in this, so you might not get it the first time. If you watch it a couple of times, it'll grow on you, and you'll probably learn to appreciate it like I do. And it's got some great, and it's of course Arrow Video. They do fantastic Blu-rays. I can't fault them enough. And 88 Films Limited do great Blu-rays as well. But Arrow Video, fantastic. Got some great features on here. It's got the scriptwriter Giordano Sancini, who basically wrote a lot of the great Italian giallo and horror films of the 70s and 80s. I mean, he wrote Cat o' Nine Tails with Dario Argento. He wrote a lot of Fulci's best loved films, Zombie Flesh Eaters, The Beyond, House by the Cemetery. He wrote for Mario Bava as well. You know, he does some great script work. And it's got commentary by Edgar Wright, who did Shaun of the Dead. Did he do Hot Fuzz? I think he done Hot Fuzz as well. Scott Pilgrim and Baby Driver. So I haven't listened to that. So that's probably quite interesting. So yeah, giallo films. I mean, with Mario Bava, I would probably start with this film. If you're trying to get into Mario Bava. I mean, I'm not an expert on Mario Bava. I've seen, is it The Mask of Satan with Barbara Steele? I've seen that. I haven't seen Rabid Dogs. I haven't seen Black Sunday. Or is Black Sunday Mask of Satan another title for it? Hang on, I think. Oh, I don't know. I have to look that up after. So I'm not really an expert on Mario Bava, but a lot of people would cite this as this greatest work. So yeah, Blade of Blood is a great little giallo slasher. That was good, wasn't it? Slasher. Oh, right. Next film. Should we give this a mention? I mean, it's not. I mean, some people like it, some people don't. And when I watched it, I wasn't impressed at all. You know, Jess Franco films should be used in torture techniques for terrorists, or it could be, or his films could be used as a cure for insomnia. Because his films are dreadful. I mean, I've only seen 2 Jess Franco films, and that was a fucking enough. Oasis of the Zombies, one of the most fucking boring zombie films I've ever fucking seen in my fucking life. Literally nothing happens in it. Nothing. In the desert, nothing. And in the last 20 minutes, the zombies come out the sand. All Africa, I think it's Africa Corp zombies. You know, Rommel's men in Second World War. And I'm thinking, this is the most fucking boring. And Zombie Lake, I know he didn't do that, but he was involved in that. Zombie Lake, unfucking believable. Oh, God. So yeah, Bloody Moon. Bloody Moon. Bloody Moon. Fucking absolutely diabolically shit. Bloody Moon. The only bloody moon I know about is when my ass is bleeding because I've strained myself too hard when I've had a shit. That's a bloody moon to me. Oh, what can I say about this film? It's just, the story doesn't go anywhere really. It's like the first scene is this deformed guy stabs somebody at this party, and he ends up in an asylum for years, and he comes out, and he's basically just stalking women, just stalking them in this language school in Spain, and it just doesn't go anywhere. It's just fake jump scare after jump scare, fake killing after fake killing, and it just doesn't. And it's just, the effects are terrible. You know, the one part where the woman gets beheaded, it just looks like a rubber fucking plastic fucking head. It looks more plastic than Nicki Minaj. It just looks so bloody plastic. Awful. And the music, the one disco song in it, shake your baby, 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 shake your baby. And I'm like, you know, if I shake the baby anymore, I'll have to call the RSPCA, because this is fucking diabolical. Shake your baby, shake your baby, shake your baby, shake your baby. Fucking hell, I thought Justin Bieber's Baby was fucking bad. Well, then again, that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? I think anything's better than Justin Bieber's Baby. Fucking hell. Talk about auto-tune automaton. Fucking hell. Shake your baby. Shake your baby. Shake your baby. Shake your baby. Oh. It just doesn't, it's just plodding. A lot of the scenes in this are they just plod along and just add nothing to the film. I know, and and like I said, when the killings do happen, they're just absolutely dreadful. And the plot twist you should probably see a mile coming. It's just dreadful, you know. And this film got an uncut release in 2008 over here. Just fucking dreadful. Bloody Moon, bloody fucking awful. Jess Franco. I mean, a couple of these films are on this. It's Bloody Moon and Cannibal Terror, which is a Section 2 film. Surprisingly, didn't get on here, because most of the films on here are cannibal films. So I'm very surprised that it didn't get on this list. But Bloody Moon, you know, if you're brave, watch it. But me, I watched it once, and it's an hour and a half I'll never get back. You know, if I watch that again, I'm gonna have fucking nightmares of that fucking song. Shake your baby, shake your baby, shake your baby, shake, 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 shake. Michael Jackson must have listened to that song, Shake Your Baby, where he dangled his son through the on top of that window ledge. He must have listened to that song, thinking, oh, I know, I think, that song, Shake Your Baby, in that horror film, Bloody Moon. Oh, I think I'll dangle my son outside and go, shake your baby, shake your baby. Oh, God, that fucking song. If that song's on fucking YouTube, I'm gonna go on there and dislike it straight away. Fucking Bloody fucking Moon. Fucking hell, that's a rant done. So next film, a really good slasher film, The Burning. Oh, The Burning. So yeah, The Burning was a slasher film that capitalised on the success of Halloween, and mainly more Friday the 13th, as Friday the 13th gave us a lot of, well, Halloween gave us a lot of derivative slasher films, you know, or some good, some bad. And The Burning is a really good slasher film. So basically the plot of this is, well, your typical slasher. A prank goes wrong and the perpetrator is out to get revenge. So the killer in this is Cropsy, and he was a mean bastard. So one day we decided to play a prank on him. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And he gets burnt by this skull with lights on it, with candle lights on it, and he gets burnt to an absolute crisp. And Tom Savini done the stunt for that. The guy who done the special effects for this as well. He done the stunt for that, and he just looks absolutely, still today, he still looks amazing. And of course, Cropsy ends up in hospital, and that scene is just pretty much a very, very, very effective, gripping scene that pretty much sets the tone of the film. So basically, he's in the burn victim unit, and you got this black orderly showing the new doctor into the burn victim unit, and he's like, and the doctor's like, he looks like a bloody cow going to the slaughterhouse. He just doesn't look like he wants to be there. And the black orderly's like, man, I've seen burnt, but this guy overcooked, Big Mac style. And it's like, hey man, you wanted to work in this business, you wanted to work with burn victims, come and take a look. You'll see nothing like this, freak. So then he looks. They start looking. We don't see Cropsy. He's off camera, and then Cropsy grabs the black orderly, and his arm. Oh, horrible, really, really brain and scorched. And the black guy, ugly, shits himself. He goes, ah! The doctor goes, by God! Ah! And then a theme music hits in, and the music for this is brilliant. It's probably the best thing that Rick Wakeman has ever done. You know, I mean, of course, I mean, I like his stuff with Bowie. You know, you can't dispute the stuff he did with Bowie, Life on Mars, and you know, and stuff he did with Sabbath. But his stuff for Yes and his solo stuff is just dreadful to me. It's just awful, pretentious shit. You know, 30-minute keyboard solo. You're right, mate. I got my wizard hat, mate. Wizard key. You're right, mate. Oh, can you order me a curry? This keyboard solo's 30 minutes. Eat my curry. Eat my curry. Eat my curry. You know, fucking But the music for this is brilliant. Very, very, you know, the synth's very, very eerie. You know, very, very eerie and creepy. You know, gives the film that creepy vibe. You know, brilliant, brilliant. And I mean, I prefer this film. I prefer this film to Friday the 13th. To be honest, I'm one of those in the minority that does not like or appreciate Friday the 13th. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen Friday the 13th, and I've seen the second Friday the 13th, and to me, there was no difference at all. Absolutely no difference at all between the two films. And I thought, if it's going to be repetitive like this, I can't see me watching the third one. So I gave up. You know. And what I like more about this film is the characters feel they're more likeable and less disposable as the ones in Friday the 13th. The ones in Friday the 13th, you want them to fucking die. You want Kevin Bacon to fucking get stabbed through the fucking neck. You know, you want the woman to get fucking stabbed to death. You know, it just I don't know. Just did not like Friday the 13th, but the Burning characters, they're more likeable. I mean, you've got the, you know, it's typical slasher trademark. You've got the outsider, you know, the loner, Alfred, you know, the loner, he can't fit in. And then you got the bully, Glazer, you know, the dumbass bully that picks on the creepy kid. And you got Woodstock. Hey, don't knock him. He's the jerk-off champion. And you got the guy from... Is it Fraser? Is it the guy from Fraser? I'm sure I read. He's got the guy that plays Fraser's in it. He's in it. And it's, of course, Woodstock, who I just mentioned. He went on to be in Short Circuit, I think. Yeah. Something Fisher, I think his name is. I mean, there's a few people in this cast that went on to have a career, but all of them are mainly known for this film. I think Holly Hunter's in this as well. I think young Holly Hunter's in it as well. So yeah, the characters in this they're more likeable. You know, they're much more like. I mean, again, there's not a lot of. Like I said, there's not a lot of character depth to them. I mean, all the men are fucking horny and all the fucking women are horny. you know, they're on a bloody, you know, camp for the summer holidays or whatever, and they're just, well, you know, horny. I'm horny. You know, that song would have fitted well in this fucking film. I'm horny. I'm the jerk-off champion. I'm horny. So yeah, what else? It is a slow burner, you know, like a lot of slasher films. It does have a slow build. There's a lot of fake jump scares. Like there's the one scene that's sort of like a homage to Psycho, where Glazer's girlfriend is in the shower, and Alfred scares her. You think that's the killer. there's one part where Woodstock gets his vitamins, and he goes back to his cabin, and there's a guy creeping behind him, a shadowy figure with a light. You think that's a killer. So there's a lot of tension. It's a lot of tension building, but I think it works really, really well in this film. I think with a lot of films it doesn't seem to work, but with this film, because the characters are really likable and relatable, you sort of forget the running time of the film. You get immersed in it, so you don't tend to think, oh, this is fucking dragging. You don't like I said, it's a slow build. I mean, it doesn't feel like it drags at all, because there's enough in it there's enough interest in it which then leads to the gory climax and the twist at the end. But I mean, there's a lot of nasty deaths in this. I mean, the infamous one that really pissed off the BBFC was the raft scene. Now, the raft scene is probably the most famous scene in the film. You know, it's where they're on their canoe trip. You know, on their camping trip, and they lose a boat, canoe, boat, whatever, and they're going looking for the boat. They find it, and of course they go up to it, and then jumps Cropsey with his garden shears. You know, his primary weapon. You know, like Michael Myers got the meat cleaver, Cropsey got the shears, and he cuts Woodstock fingers off. He slashes a girl's head open. He shoves the shears into the guy's neck, and he spits blood out of his mouth. Very nasty scene. Very, very nasty scene. Probably the nastiest scene in the film, and probably the murder in the beginning, where the prostitute is cut with scissors through her stomach, and there's blood gushing out everywhere. Basically, cuts her stomach open. Really nasty, and blood splatters over the motel mirror. I mean, those scenes are very, very nasty, and of course, it took till 2002 for it to get an uncut version over here. I mean, I don't know if in America it had a problem with the censors. It might have done, I don't know. But over here there was again, like I said, part of the video's Nasties list. You know, if you got caught with this, you'd be prosecuted. So yeah, Burning, really good. One of the better slasher films of the 1980s. Really good slasher film, Burning, great. And at least we didn't mention that big fat tub of lad, you know, which pretty much launched his career, this film. Fat tub of lad, you know, fat piece of shit, Mr. W. You know, I'm glad we didn't mention him, because I would have got very fucking annoyed. So yeah, The Burning, that was The Burning. Next film. What's the time now? 27 minutes, right. Next film we're going to look at is Cannibal Apocalypse, or in his cut version was Invasion of the Flesh Hunters. Yes, Invasion of the Flesh Hunters, aka Cannibal Apocalypse. So yeah, Cannibal Apocalypse is a very strange addition to the cannibal genre. It's not your typical cannibal film. You know, it's not your typical jungle romping, cutting up animal film. You know what I mean? The first 10 minutes is the jungle. That's the only time you have the jungle in this film. So basically what this film is about, Hopper, played by John Saxon. Now, the first 10 minutes he's trying to save his two Vietnam compatriots that have been trapped He's trapped in this pit. And when he finds them, they're biting on a woman's tit and arm. And he is horrified. He's horrified, John Saxon. So he tries to grab them to safety, and the black Vietnam soldier bites him. And then he wakes up. He goes, oh, it was all a dream. But he has contracted a cannibalistic virus. It's never explained how the virus started. We know it comes from Vietnam, but we don't know how the cannibal virus has started. So basically, when you're bit by a cannibal, you turn into a cannibal. So it's more like a zombie film. In a way, it has more comparisons with like David Cronenberg's Rabbit than your typical cannibal film, and that's what drew me to it. And it has horror elements, but it plays more like a Starsky and a more gorier Starsky and Hutch, Kojak crime thriller sort of film, And the soundtrack to it is so inappropriate. It's unbelievable. It's like a funky. It should be used in an Italian porn film. It's just so funky with that saxophone, and it just raw. It just sounds so raunchy as fuck. It just feels out of place, but at the same time it works as well, which is odd. It just seems to work into the film really, really good. And of course Hopper, he's getting these nightmares all the time. He's fighting the urge. He doesn't want to be a cannibal. He doesn't want to end up like his two Vietnam colleagues, which of course years later they are still around carrying the virus. And of course you've got Tony King and Bukowski, played by Giovanni Lamberto Radici. I am Giovanni Lamberto Radici. I like to get killed in horrific ways. I like my dick cut off. I like my brain cut off. I like a drill to the head. I like a shotgun shell to my chest. He dies in such magnificent ways. It's unbelievable. But this is one of his first films, and he rings John Saxon to meet up, and John Saxon doesn't want to meet up at all. He's fighting this virus for years. He's fighting the urge. He's on medication for it. He's really, really trying to fight it, and he delivers such a really good performance in it. He plays it so straight. It makes his performance more believable. He could have went ridiculously over the top, like Giovanni Lamberto Radici did, but I think it's a good contrast, because you believe in him, you want him to fight this virus, and then of course, Bukowski has been let out of the mental hospital, and then of course he can't fight his urges, so he bites a woman on the neck in the cinema when the people are making out. I don't know, cinema, I don't know, whatever. If people want to make out in the cinema, that's completely up to them. Look at Pee Wee Herman. He liked to play with his Pee Wee in the cinema, in watching porn. I'm playing with my Pee Wee. Ooh, look at me on my bike. Right? Oh, look, I'm just him on a bike. Yeah, going around in his local area, he goes, oh, look, there's a porn film. I'm going to go inside and play with my Pee Wee. But that's Pee Wee Herman for you. So, and then, of course, it's chaos then. Absolute chaos. As Bukowski releases, he goes to the hospital, he releases the other Vietnam veteran compatriot, Tony King, and he ends up biting a nurse, and people are getting bitten all over the place, and then which then leads to the sewer shooter, which is probably the best part of the film, or the fight at the fight at the gas station is quite good. The music for that scene is so funky. I just want to get up and dance. Really, really funky. Alexander Blocksteiner. It's such a great soundtrack. In a way, it's inappropriate, but in a way, it just works at the same time. So yeah, what else can I say? I think the only thing lacking from this film is sort of like I was sort of expecting, like towards the end, I was sort of expecting like a Life Force sort of apocalypse. Like in the Toby Hooper film Life Force at the end, towards the end is like it's like London is ravaged, with vampires. It's just I was expecting more of that sort of thing, but as the title Cannibal Apocalypse. But I mean, it's an interesting film, effective film, which sort of it's its own. In a way, it's its own film on itself. It doesn't really fit. Although it has elements of the cannibal and zombie genre, it's sort of a film that fits. It doesn't have you can't really fit it into a genre, really. I mean, it's got, like I said, it's got action elements, 70s cop TV show elements. It's got horror elements. It's got cannibal elements. It's got zombie. It just feels like a film on its own. And I wish it would get a Blu-ray release. It's one of those films it's very hard to get. And it hasn't got an uncut release over here due to 2 seconds in the sewer where a rat is on flames by the part in the sewer where the cannibals are getting chased by the police. So they still haven't released it uncut because of that. I mean, but it's far worse. There's far worse in films like Cannibal Ferox and the other film. Much worse animal cruelty, much worse. But apparently the Horror Channel showed this film uncut. They actually showed the rat scene uncut, and I mean, it's blink you miss it. That scene, it's 2 seconds. You blink, you miss it, but because the BBS, you think it's a breach to animals. It's breaching the Cruelty to the Animals Act. They haven't released it uncut. Will they one day? Maybe. I don't know. But Cannibal Apocalypse is, like I said, an interesting take on the cannibal genre. So yeah, Cannibal Apocalypse. So the next film, I mean, as we're talking about Giovanni Lamberto Radici, as we're talking about him, let's talk about briefly. I haven't seen this film, but let's talk about it briefly. And this film tends to divide people. People seem to either love it or hate it. I mean, I haven't watched it, and I probably wouldn't have a desire to watch it unless it's an animal cruelty free version. But people, it just divides people, and it's Cannibal Ferox. Now, it seems to, from what I read and watch reviews, this film seems to be a very poor attempt at replicating what Cannibal Holocaust did. It seems to go out of its way. From what I read, it seems to go out of its way to be more blatantly vile and gruesome, particularly with the animal killings in it. It seems to be, from what I've read, it just seems to be go out of its way to be a far more vile film. There's one scene where a Coatamundi is tied up to a rope, and a snake is set onto it, and basically crushes the poor fucking thing. But apparently, Giovanni Lamberto Radici said, who disapproved of the animal cruelty in this, he said apparently the thing survived. The camera crew filmed so much of it, and they were so appalled by what was happening, they stopped filming that scene. They stopped filming it, and I think one of the film crew got the Coatamundi out of that scene. And it's one scene that the Giovanni Giudici's character in it, Mike Logan, he kills a pig, but he refused to do it. He was like, I'm not going to cut up this pig. I refuse to do it. I am like Giovanni Lamberto Radici. I refuse to do it. And the director was like, well, Umberto Lenzi was like, well, hey, Radici, hey, Robert De Niro would do it. And he went, Robert De Niro, kick your fucking ass all the way back to Rome. I fucking hate this film. It's a sordid piece of shit. I fucking hate this film. It's a sordid piece of shit. My character is flat as a board. He is so over top. He playing nasty guy. It's a sordid piece of shit. I fucking hate this film. Every time I sign things for this film, I put Umberto Lenzi is an asshole. Or I fucking hate this fucking movie. I fucking hate this sordid piece of shit. Oh, come on, Giovanni. Tell us how you really feel. So yeah, his character had to kill a pig in it. He refused it. A stunt double did it. Apparently, he butchered his arm. He butchered it so much, he nearly busted the main artery in his hand. Or something like that, and Giovanni was like, hey, talk about karma. So Cannibal Ferox, people seem to like it or they don't. The story seems to be similar, where these two women have gone out into the Amazon to prove that cannibalism is a myth, and of course it's got New York scenes in it as well. It just seems to be going out this way to replicate Cannibal Holocaust. It does, and for a lot of people, it doesn't seem to work. And it's one of the nastier, one of the nastiest video nasties. But as we're talking about the cannibal genre, the one film that people tend to cite as the granddaddy, you know, the grandmaster of cannibal films is Cannibal Holocaust. Now, Cannibal Holocaust wasn't the first cannibal film. The first cannibal film was by Umberto Lenzi, the man from Deep River, also known as Deep River Savages. Now, Deep River Savages did not end up on this list, the Section 1 nasty, which is very, very odd, because it's a cannibal film. Maybe if it had Cannibal Savages, maybe it had got on this list. But Man from Deep River, Deep River Savages did not get on this list. But that is the film that kickstarted the genre. You know, typical trademarks of a cannibal genre is exotic locations. It sort of takes elements of the adventure film and the Mondo films from the 60s, which was Mondo films were like a type of sort of like pseudo sort of documentary style. It takes a lot from that, and of course the animal cruelty is abundant in these films. So yeah, Cannibal Holocaust was a film by Ruggero Deodato, and it's one of those films that pretty much kickstarted, probably one of the main films that kickstarted the whole controversy in the first place, the video nasties hysteria. So in a nutshell, the plot: Cannibal Holocaust is about this professor, anthropologist, Dr. Harold Monroe, played by Robert Kerman, who used to be a porn star. I kid you not, he used to be a porn star in such great, fantastic titles such as Debbie Does Dallas. Woo! So yeah, he plays the anthropologist professor looking for 4 missing crew members in the Amazon that have filmed a documentary called The Green Inferno. So he goes into the Amazon, and he's conflicted by 2 cannibalistic tribes. He gains trust of the one, which eventually leads to the grisly remains of the film crew. So he gains trust of the tribe to get the film back. So he goes back to New York, and the rest of the film is him with these 2 network executives watching the found footage. So this film pretty much started the found footage genre. Not a fan of the genre, but you know, it is what it is. It started the genre. So films like Blair Witch Project owed a great debt to this film, because I imagine a lot of people, when they first watched Blair Witch Project, they thought it was a snuff film. In this film, Cannibal Holocaust, people thought it was a snuff film. And I think one of the reasons people thought it was a snuff film was because of the animal cruelty, the animal slaughter in it. Now, I mean, the director's gone on and said that he regrets a lot of the animal deaths in it, but at the time, you know, he's gone on record and saying that he wanted to use special effects regarding the animals. He wanted to use fake animals, to fake the deaths. But the natives, according to the director, said, well, a lot of the animals that are going to be killed are part of our custom, our diet. So monkey brains to these tribes was, it was like, in many ways, like somebody praying on a Sunday. It was their custom to do that, So, like 6 animals were killed for this film, and they used 2 monkeys because they botched the one monkey death. They had to do it again, and the turtle gets killed, it gets beheaded, and he rip his guts out, and a pig gets shot, and a lot of the crew members of these animal deaths walked off set and were crying. I mean, I could get a debate about animal cruelty. I mean, back then the laws were different, weren't they? The laws back then were different. They were different. You couldn't, now you couldn't get away with that. Now the PTA and the Animal Humane Association, I think that's what they called, would be absolutely outraged by it. But Miguel Deodato in the early 80s in the Amazon, bottom line is, who is going to supervise him? Who is going to supervise? Who's going to say, Miguel, you can't do that, you can't kill this animal, and people would debate, well, the animals were eaten. Okay, yeah, the animals were eaten, but it's like confliction. Yeah, the animals were eaten, but at the end of the day, they shouldn't have been used as basically like props, really. Just it shouldn't be used in entertainment, really. And that's where a lot of the controversy came. People thought, well, if the animal deaths are real, how do we not know the human deaths are real as well? Because if you look at footage of the actual documentary that the film crew do, the camera work is very grainy. It's very grainy. It's almost like something like a student would do in college. One of those really cheap cameras. So you got it's like a really grainy, grey, blurry effect. A very unpolished, lo-fi sort of style. And people thought, wow, look at that footage. Is this real? Is this real? And I mean, the director went on to force the actors to disappear for a year to give authenticity to the film. So the director had to go to court to prove that he did not kill the 4 actors that meet their grisly demise in the documentary. So they ended up I think it was even on a TV show. They ended up on a TV show, and he had to show the prop of the impalement of the tribe girl, because there's a scene towards the end of the film where a woman is impaled, and I've seen it there's a little short documentary on YouTube, Cannibal Holocaust, Real or Fake, and Ruggero Deodato explains how he done that scene. She was on a bicycle seat, and he put just like a little fake tube in her mouth to make it to look like it was a wooden tube, and that's how he does. She was sat on a bicycle seat, and you got Eli Roth, like a fucking fanboy. He's like they in this film they use real savages. Oh my God! How did Ruggero direct these savages to do these scenes? I'm like, calm the fuck down, Eli. You're gonna cream your jeans in a minute. Fucking unbelievable. I'm thinking, well, I'm not being funny. I don't think Ruggero would have been that stupid to use actual real cannibals in the fucking film. How the fuck would he direct real cannibals? They would have got eaten, wouldn't they? Common sense would say that if they were real cannibals, the cannibals would have ate the film crew. Would have ate everyone, wouldn't they? They weren't. I don't think they were real savages. They were real tribe. They were from a real tribe, but I don't think they were real cannibals. So I don't know where he's getting his information from. And he's getting all excited and talking about the wooden post. He's like, how did they do that? Because she does not blink. She does not blink. And I'm like, fucking hell. And this is the guy that remade Cannibal Holocaust as the Green Inferno. Which, according to Giovanni Lamberti Radici, he said he was like, Ruggero was pissed about it. He was really pissed. The Green Inferno, what the fuck? What the fuck is the Green Inferno? It's probably another sorted piece of shit like Cannibal Ferox. So Deodato had to show the props of the impalement scene, and it's not the first time that had happened in Italian cinema, because Fulci had to prove. It's one scene in Lizards in a Woman's Skin where there's the part and these dogs are on the table with their guts out, and people thought he had killed real dogs, but he had to go to court with the special effects designer showing the actual props of the film. So it wasn't the first time this had happened, and of course the film got banned in Italy, and I think he got fined. He didn't do jail time, but he got fined a lot. And of course over here as well, the controversy was banned as well, because there was a one article, and this policeman said, I have seen a snuff film, and it's called Cannibal Holocaust. So it kept growing. The legend kept growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And again, it's one of the most infamous video nasties. A lot of people would cite this. A lot of people that like the video nasties cite this as probably in their top five video nasties. And I mean, if I had to watch it, it'd have to be without the animal cruelty. That's probably me being a hypocrite because I eat meat, but fuck it, I don't want to see turtles getting fucking ripped open, but you could argue like, well, there's always going to be a debate with this film, and I think that's where a lot of the controversy comes from now, is the real unsimulated animal killings in this. I mean, if it didn't have that, would people still talk about this film? Would they still talk about it with such vigorous compassion? Well, vigorous passion, I should say, not compassion. Vigorous passion. But people still talk about this film as being controversial. And what the director, from what I read, what the director was trying to say, he's basically criticising Western journalism. The way the Western journalists were describing the people as savages, the cannibal tribes are savages. But when you look at the footage of the four film crew, they are such nasty fucking bastards. Burning huts, killing animals, and raping all the native women. They were such bastards. You want them to. You're so happy they get fucking killed at the end. You're just so happy, And It's like the professor at the end smoking his pipe says, "I wonder who the real cannibals are." You know, basically a critique on Western journalism. You know, just basically the media can spin a story as much as they like. It's like if a mentally ill person, you know, he hasn't, you know, he's having a breakdown and he kills somebody. They don't look at the person. You know, they don't look at the circumstances of the person. They just think, well, this mad person has just killed somebody. They don't look at the actual person. You know, his background is like, was he taking medication? Was he seeing somebody? Was he getting enough help? They don't think of that. They see a juicy headline and they will spin it. They will spin it. So you can sort of understand where he's coming from there. But for me, the real cannibals of the world, well, the people that eat people, yeah. But I think the real cannibals of the world are politicians. They're the real cannibals of the world. Yeah, they a lot of them. They're all out for themselves, and that's it. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about anyone else. You know, and I really do like the soundtrack to this film. You know, the theme song, it has a bit of sweet irony to it. It's just, it's in a way it's horrific, but it's beautiful at the same time. You know, I mean, if you wanted, I mean, for me, if I was going to get murdered and stabbed to death and my head cut off and get eaten, I would have to have this song in the background playing, because it's such a in a way it's a peaceful song, but in a way it sort of lures you into a false sense of security as well. It's edgy and beautiful at the same time, you know, and Riz Ortolani was good at that, contrasting soundtracks. He was very good at that, because you see a lot of films with his soundtrack, some of the scenes that they use his music in, it's just brutal. It's like Drive. A Riz Ortolani song is used where the driver is basically drowning. What's his name now? Oh, what's his fucking name? Nino. Oh, for his bloody name. But anyway, he gets drowned, and then there's one scene, Don't Torture a Duckling, where Riz Ortolani music is used, and she's getting bashed to fucking death with a chain. And the music's just so beautiful, you're thinking, it just sort of, I don't know, it's very, very, very uncomfortable, but at the same time beautiful at the same time. It's odd. And a lot of the soundtrack as well for this film, it seems to be using an Atari, because I can hear pew 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 in the background, just like he was using like somebody was playing with an Atari in the background. Of course, Atari was around back then in the early 80s, so it's, yeah, very good soundtrack. I'd love to get the soundtrack on vinyl. But yeah, Cannibal, I mean, for me not to mention this film would have been an insult, really, even though I haven't seen it, because a lot of people would cite, I mean, majority of people would cite this film as probably the best Cannibal film and probably one of their favourite video nasties. So yeah, Cannibal Holocaust. So yeah, Cannibal Holocaust. Don't go in the woods of... Fucking hell, don't go in the woods. Oh, God. A fucking deformed Gibney just fucking going... just killing campers. Fucking... just fucking absolutely dreadful. Yeah. Don't go in the woods today, you shall have a big surprise. They use that as a theme song in it. I kid you not. Don't go in the woods. Oh my God, Next. Right. Next film. The poster child that pretty much one of the reasons why the controversy started. And that's Driller Killer. So yeah, Driller Killer. Driller Killer is it's more like it's more like a psychological thriller with slasher elements. It's not a full-on horror. Even though a lot of the scenes are at night, it's a very depressing watch, very depressing and nihilistic in its approach. So basically, what the film is about this struggling artist in this rundown flat, hoping to paint his masterpiece and show it to, I don't know, some art dealer. And he's painting like a bull. And I don't know if, looking into it, I'm not sure if it represents anything, the bull in himself. I'm not sure. It doesn't really go too deep into that really. But he's like, I wouldn't say the character Reno is very likable. Really, I don't know. You sort of feel for it. You know, the struggle to pay the bills and stuff, and his landlord's a dick. And of course, he gets a punk rock band moving in the way he is, and just blasting punk rock all night. So it is a very punk rock film. It is a punk film, very nihilistic, very. It is. I mean, it shows New York to be, it shows the New York underbelly as incredibly downtrodden and sleazy. And Abel Ferrara is so good at. He's so good with these films. He portrays New York in such a sleazy, downtrodden light. It's unbelievable. But then again, any director back in the late 70s in New York could probably do that, but not in the way that Abel Ferrara does it. He just seems to do it really, really well, to show New York to be, well, to me at the time, the worst fucking city on the fucking planet. And of course, not much of a plot to this film. It just sort of centers around his Reno's exploits with his two girlfriends, and he sort of spirals into psychosis as he goes out with his drill at night, drilling and killing a lot of vagrants. And that's basically it, really. That's basically what happens in it. And I mean, it's not my favourite Abel Ferrara film. It's not my favourite. I think his Miss 45 is a much better focused and more polished film. And I think he hit his peak in the early 90s with King of New York and Bad Lieutenant. I love those films. I mean, Bad Lieutenant's my favourite. But it's a start for him. It was a start. And to be honest, it's not as gory as the cover implies at all. I mean, that's probably the worst part you see. It's probably the part with the drill to the head. Other than that, there's a bit of gore. But it's not something you can't handle. There's not much, hardly any sexualized violence in this, so I can't understand why it was banned, really, and on this list, because there's not much in it, really. But again, a lot of the controversy was to do with the actual video cover, so that's why it got successfully prosecuted, and we didn't get and the BBS they did not like tools as weapons, so they didn't like drills as weapons used in films or knives. That's why the Lethal Weapon, the last scene in Lethal Weapon, the fight in Lethal Weapon, that's why over here it was cut. And they didn't like household objects as weapons. They did not like it at all. And we didn't get uncut release of this till 2002. So, and I'll tell you this story as well. My dad, he got this film pre-cert version on VHS in Newport Market in the late 80s. Now, for this old couple, absolutely bizarre. This old couple had all clothes, and underneath, in this box, just Drill a Killer on its own. No cover, just Drill a Killer on the side. On the side of the cover. You're thinking, and my dad was like, I'm fucking having that. Can you imagine if he got caught with that? Coming in Newport Market, policeman going, hello, 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 hello. Oh, what have we got here? Oh, bloody hell, what have we got here? What's this? Driller Killer. You're fucking nicked me out, beauty. Yeah, can you imagine? Bloody hell. Can't imagine, can you? But yeah, Driller Killer. It's a decent enough film. It's decent enough. So yeah, Driller Killer. Next film. Let's have a look. Talk about one. Jesus, an hour. Who's gonna watch this for an hour? So yeah, Evil Speak. Yeah, Evil Speak. We'll talk about Evil Speak. For not too long. So yeah, Evil Speak. Evil Speak is a very interesting film. So basically, this film is about this really pouty, clumsy, socially awkward private called Cooper Smith, who's training in this military academy, and he goes underneath the church, and he finds this black mass book, which he ends up typing into his computer, and he's getting messages from Satan, and of course, which led to the really gory climax. It's very interesting. It's sort of like the film is sort of like Carrie. A lot of people would say it's like Carrie, Stephen King's Carrie in a military academy, only with a male, only from a male perspective. Yeah, I suppose that's pretty accurate. Yeah, he's a very likable character, Cooper Smith, but he's just so clumsy and awkward. It's unbelievable. He's got no friends. He's getting constantly bullied, and he gets constantly bullied by everybody. So you can sort of see why at the end he just gets his revenge. And what pissed off the censors was the pig scene. The pig scene is where this woman is showering, and he's basically pigs that are possessed. It's like demon pigs, and they basically just bite her and rip into her and kill her. Really nasty scene that is. That's probably that scene pretty much really pissed him off, and that's why he was put on this list. I mean, it is a bit of a slow builder, but I think there's enough in it to keep your interest. Some interesting characters in it, like Sarge, basically like a bloody bewildered. He's like a bewildered drunk hobo. He's just absolutely just doesn't know what the fuck's going on ever. To be honest, doesn't know what the fuck's going on. But yeah, so yeah, it took till 2004 to get an uncut version of this, and can I add any more to it? No, I don't think I can. So yeah, that was part 1. So I've had to do this video again because I didn't feel I'd done really good last time. So it's fucking longer this time, I know, because I've talked about more films. But the next part I'll be talking about a few more films that are interesting, good, interesting, and that's yeah. So that's it. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.